Shalom. Addendum. To win a debate. This is the last time I talk about this. It's getting a little bit tedious. But after showing this, I'm going to show something much more serious. By the way, a thought just struck me before hitting play on the theme for the Trailer Park Boys. There would be Globelings who hear that tune and the hackles will just go up. I just find that so humorous. Because they will have been conditioned to hearing that going, we're going to hear something troublesome, or we're going to hear something wrong, just dead wrong, the guy just doesn't get it. That thinking, which is what they have to resort to, because otherwise, what I showed earlier, that might be right. In which case, the ones that are stupider than them for thinking they live on a globe. This is how you win the debate. Just going to hold it here, like so. This screen grab. Oh no. $555 meters. Red or Astronomy Live invented observation point, on this triangle that they invented for the observation. 555 meters here. Wonderful. 0.06 is the degree watch between the right angle, between the right angle and the ISS. You see, the right angle is not, watch, here. That's not what they're doing. That wouldn't be 555 meters, see? The angle is between this line and this line where the ISS is. Okay, remember this is only a pictorial representation, so we have the moon and we have the ISS, and from here we have the ISS too. You can do it from that side too, yeah? But this is only a pictorial representation. This here, this angle would be the same if the ISS was here. It would be the same angle, what with the moon in the background, or if the ISS was here. I showed this in an earlier hangout. Or if the ISS was here, it's still the same angle. See? Okay, you seeing? Right. So the whole 0.0606, which is this angle, is not telling us what the distance is between this baseline and the ISS. It's telling us the distance between the baseline, this straight line, and where the two meet, which is here, which would be, well, the moon, or just a point where a metaphysical triangle meets. This is the distance that's being measured, not the ISS. Okay? You can argue, oh no, if the ISS was here, then this angle wouldn't be the same. Hey, they didn't measure their angles. They didn't measure any of these angles. They went by unmeasured, remember. But if instead you just to say, no, Antonio, you don't understand. What's going on is this. Look, this distance here, that's playing the role of the 555 meters. This distance here is playing that role. And the triangle would then be, well, from there, we're having to invert the triangle again for poor stupid dim. Okay, then this is what we'd have. Okay, so really, Antonio, really, we're working with this triangle. See, that there. Okay, in which case this 0.606 will be, well, down here, and the right angle here will be, well, there, and it would just be a completely fabricated thing. Like, well, let's just say If you don't know the distance to the moon, which you don't, you only have angles. The only angles you really have is this angle and this angle. Those are the only angles that you have. Okay? This angle is based on angular resolution, but that's a separate thing. Remember, the angular resolution is a different chapter of trigonometry. Okay? Do you see my little funny cartoon? Are you seeing? If you don't check these angles, you don't have an observation. You can't invert the thing then and say, well, no, we're doing it this way. Like, no, you're not. You're just talking nonsense. You can't say that distance there is 555 meters because you don't know what that distance there is. You don't know. Sorry, but it's just how the world is, Globlings. And that's how you win a debate. You say, look, what you're actually doing is you're measuring a triangle, not an imaginary point at some point within one of the edges or one of the sides, like so. Here's the right angle. If you start off with this, you have nothing, but you can have a value, 555. Wonderful. That's this. Great. What else do we have? Well, we have another corner. Between the observer and that corner, there's a point which tells you the degree, but you're not measuring to that point. That point, the ISS, is only telling you what the degree is. This is the degree. If the point was here, it would be the same degree there. Can you see? You see how you can confirm this by, well, knowing what this degree is. Would this degree be the same here as here? Well, yes, of course it would. It's the same straight line. So when you're measuring using trig and you're arriving at a figure, this is the figure you're arriving at. This point here. Do you understand? Do you see? Now, before I show the serious stuff, which I am, it is serious stuff, I'm going to first do a little trick that I learned from a Globling, which is this. You take a torch, right, and you angle it like this, you can do things with a torch and angling it. Just that. It's a trick I learned, just this. I know, it seems incredibly pathetic, but you know, it's just a trick I learned. If you grab a torch and you kind of wiggle it around and you change its angle, you change where the illumination's happening. Some of you will know what that's referring to. Right, now I'm going to show the serious stuff. And by the way, I'm going to paste a link in the chat to the trig page. Help yourselves with the value. Just put the values there. And you'll see 524 kilometers to the moon. That's the point. Not the ISS. Oh, I'm going to show it again, dagnabbit. Here. It's so simple and yet so elusive to some people. I think this is the window. Yes. Here I have the values right there. Oh wait, here's what I want to copy paste and put it in the chat for those of you who want to play along. So of course now the Globelins are panicking. No, spherical trig, spherical trig. Oh, Antonio, spherical trig, please. So in the chat there's a link to this page. Here are the values. Angle B, there, 0.0606. Wonderful. Angle A, well, just under 90 degrees. Wonderful. We'll do this again, but in angle B, I will put at angle A, actually, I'll just leave it. I'll put here angle B 0.01, and we'll see. 524.7 kilometers away. The moon, the top of the triangle. You can't invert a triangle and say that's the end of the triangle. So let me clear this, and I'm going to go to angle A. I'm going to put angle A, no, at angle B I will put 0.01. You'll note I've changed the significant figures, 9 decimal places. Very good. And that's B is here, the top of the triangle. Wonderful. Now it's going to fill in what angle A is. Great. We need another value. Edge B. Wonderful. 555 meters. 555 meters. Oh gosh. Well, when you do that, the moon is 3,000 kilometers away. 3,179.9. What earlier it was telling us was 3,180. Oh gosh. Going on with this? Giving us different results. What could be causing this? Well, we're working with tiny angles and just one side. That's right, we don't have two sides and we're working out the hypotenuse. Like, just hot damn! And this 0.01 is from, well, real world observation, which will be the actual triangle made to the center of the moon. The triangle made by these dim-dims, they're measuring to the center of the moon, not to the ISS. The ISS is just something that tells them what angle between their baseline, a right angle, which is imagined by the way, and the center of the moon is this distance. Great. So they put it here and they go, oh right, wait a minute, I'll put it. Ah, damn it. 06. And they're going, aha, see, 524 kilometers. That sounds feasible for the ISS. It's the ISS then. You go, no. I stopped sharing that, and I show why no. Again. Look, and this I'm not even going to use a rule. Look, dim-dim. Oh, that's terrible. Straight. There. Right angle. Right angle. Necessary for the rest of the equation. Angle 0.06. What is this angle? It's not the ISS here. You don't have a point here that tells you the 0.06. You can say, well, yeah, if you were to extend the triangle by doing this, like so, well, that angle there would be the same as this angle here. Like, what the heck are you doing? So, okay, you're establishing a point. Great. What is it you're establishing a point to? Because this is imagined. You're not establishing a point to the ISS here. You need the ISS here to establish this, which is this. See that parallax? Here's the surface of the Earth and there's the tracks. It's this here. You're not measuring to this here. If you move this to here, you say, well, we're measuring to the ISS. We've removed the parallax, and instead we've done this with the parallax. Yeah, we just doubled the moon, as if the moon was holoprismatic or something, I don't know. So what you're actually measuring to is the top of the triangle. That's what triangulation does. That's what it measures to. Okay, here, a bit more exact. It measures to here. Here is not the ISS. The ISS is in some point along this line. All you know is that the angle here is 0.0606. That's the angle that tells you the distance to here, the top of the triangle. What's the top of the triangle? The moon, from that point of view. But obviously it's not like the moon isn't a physical thing that's actually at that distance. It's just, this is what the triangle is telling you. And you don't know which is the moon, like what, where, how is this working? Because you can't confirm it. In the real world you can. When you put this sideways and you're measuring the distance, from here you're measuring either the distance to an object or the height to an object. Once you know either the height of the object or the distance to the object. But if you don't, you have nothing. And the height of the object in terms of values, if you only have degrees but you don't know the distance, you still don't have anything. You understand? You don't have, if you don't know the size and you only end up with degrees, like if you had this instead, you still don't know how far away it is. It could be here, could be here. See how it works? You don't know. You only know with the observation that you've made the end of this line, how far away it is. This is how far. You say that's the ISS. I say, no it isn't, Dim Dim. Here's the ISS, somewhere along this line. And the fact that it's such a shoddy observation without right angles and without looking at things that you can actually establish absolutely and irrefutably, which is this angle here you can establish. We're not talking elevation, we're talking azimuth. This angle 0.01, that gives you a distance of 3,179 point something to the top of this triangle, and this doesn't include any ISS. You see, it's simple. This does not include the ISS. You and Astronomy Live, Rhetoric, could go out at the same time and both film the moon. Wonderful. And you'd have this. Do you understand? You could go, ignore, forget the ISS. It was a lovely dream. You'd have this. Do you see? Do you see? With you 555 meters from the right angle. This is the moon. Okay? If this is the moon at that distance with a triangle that would actually look a lot more like, well, two very similar lines like so. Okay? So 90 degrees, just under 90 degrees. How far away? 3,000 kilometers, 3,179 kilometers away. That's how far, that's where they meet. That's the point that triangulation measures to. Dim Dim. Like, no, but if we cross them over, We could say the moon really far away. We don't know how far, but it has some angular diameter. We'll base it on that angular diameter. Do this, and then we'll say, well, this, if we then go back and we then bisect, which is what you did, you clown shoes. Anyway, now onto something serious, and then I'm wrapping this up because I want to listen. I want to go and hang out with. No, wrong one. No, it's not the wrong one. It's the right one. I want to listen to Persian Scribe. So that's that gone. Sorry, dim-dims. And now there's people like Bobby Shafto who doesn't understand perspective and angles. I mean, we're talking some very dim people who don't understand angles and how they shift with perspective. How if you go up, those angles change. If you go down, they change again. It's just, if you move to the left and you have fixed angles, they just don't get it because they think they live on a globe, so they can't think straight. They can't think straight. That's why so many of them are queer. Yeah, I said it. Now, here we go. What's this? I'm going to go through all of the pages. We're at page 24. We're going to go to page 1. You might want to take this video down if you want, like make a copy of it. In case my channel gets pulled or this video gets pulled, doesn't matter. All I'm going to do is go up until page 1, then we'll look at page 1, just because it's the last page. And we'll see. So I'm doing this so you can grab screen grabs, okay? And I'm just going over one page at a time up to page 24, and we will look into what this is, all of these names. And there's the source for these reports. Wait, is that the last one? That's the last page. There is the source to these reports. I'm going to paste a link to this. This isn't just made up stuff. Okay, it goes up to 2016, the 15th of December. C.S. Gordon Anglesey, North Wales Police, historic child sex abuse. 12 years, died in prison in 2016. Was sent to prison and died in prison in 2016. Okay, these are list of police, prison and court personnel charged or convicted of an offence from 2009 to 2016. List of police, prison, court personnel charged with these things. Now, I'm going to give a very clear caveat, and it shouldn't really need giving, but you need to pay attention to this. Here we have, I don't know, I haven't bothered counting, several hundred. Out of, well, several thousand. Does that mean that all of those several thousand haven't done anything? No, it doesn't mean that at all. But it also doesn't mean that all of those other serving police have. Okay? These are ones that have been caught and prosecuted by the same system that brings us the police. This is for the freemen out there. All of these people have been caught, prosecuted, found guilty, and sent to prison by the system that brings us the police. The system that has the police, the police is, I don't know how many thousands of serving police officers. These are a small number of those serving police officers. It goes the same way with the Catholic Church. I think it's 4,100 or so pedophiles out of the 200,000 or so priests. So it's important to bear this in mind, but I give you this because the mainstream doesn't give you this. Okay, the mainstream hasn't told you. 1st of November 2016, Dominic McNeil, Merseyside Police, child porn sex offenders, 16-month suspended sentence. Next one down, rape. Jailed for 7 years. That's PC Richard Hale. So you can go through this. I've gone through it. Go through, have a look, pass it on to people. Just pass it on to people so they know. Now, when you're dealing with a police officer, you're either dealing with somebody who's going to be sent down to prison, who's going to be sacked, or who knows that there are dirty people in their crew and say, I'm not serving with that prick. And I tell you, there will be officers who are saying, Superintendent, I am not being paired with such a body, and we both know why. Okay? Okay, just so we understand, just so we're clear, this is not an attack on the police. This is also not defending the police. This is simply showing some facts. I know, so we all know people in different different fields, different forms of employment, different all kinds. From police, military, nursing, doctors, teachers, plumbers, everything, okay? The police, they know who's a dirty one inside their crew. The same as with the military. They know who's a dirty one. They don't want that person with them. So they push them out. That's what happens. But it takes a while before people realize that's a dirty one, that one. And when they know, it's like, we're getting that one out, otherwise we're going to get a bad name. So I just wanted to share that. Now I'm going to paste a link to that. Oops, wait, wrong one. I'm going to paste a link in case you all want to see more clearly. This was passed to me. This isn't a result of my own research. I don't tend to look into this because it's dark. And I prefer, well, less dark material, you know, because it's easy to go under, you know, to fall into depression. So don't look at this if you're prone to depression. If this is the kind of thing that actually motivates you and gives you energy to pursue whatever you're going to pursue, then great. If you're likely to be sent to suffer from depression, don't look into it. Right, I'm just okaying conversations in the chat. Hey, I see Sergey Malsev. Sergey, how are you? No, I did not. Lee's rules, right. So I've seen this list. Did you also know if you download the WikiLeaks vaults from Pirate Bay, you can get a list of all UK Freemason names, their levels and lodge? I did not. I did not know that. Interesting. So now I'm quickly looking through the chat because I saw Sergey. I want to see what Sergey is writing. Sergey, see my channel for details. I will. December 21st is coming, Australians. Rockhampton and Longreach. This is where you need to be. Yes, okay, so I'm going to look at that. Sergey has been, for I think now about 3 years, has been trying to establish if there's any speed difference between the sun when it's on the Tropic of Capricorn versus when it's on the Tropic of Cancer. So let me go to your channel. I'm going to... In fact, I'll tell you what, Sergey, I'm going to give you a wrench and you can... And then afterwards I will take it away. I have taken everyone's wrenches. I am giving you a wrench, Sergey, so you can paste a link to your channel, to your video. Hammond Walker, how are you? I am very well. How are you, sir? Yeah, so there you go. I mean, that dark stuff with there's bad humans. Yeah, there's bad humans. Yeah, there is. There's bad people. Forget humans. There are people who get all bent out of shape when you say human. They say human means less. It means monster. Like, no, it doesn't. It really doesn't. If somebody's told you, you know, human means monster, then you're just believing what they're telling you. Yeah, it says it in this special dictionary of using words with different meanings. Like, oh, okay, that's not how I use the word human. That's not what it means in the real dictionary. And person, Yeah, also not what it means in the real dictionary and what people really refer to it as. But yeah, the free men on the land. John Irving, who brought it all to a head. He quit just before. He's like, no, I shouldn't have said a freaking word. That's what he said. Why? Because I think somebody had a word with him, not as in, you carry on, we're going to kill you, but as in, you know, without this system, you have Somalia. That you have those places without this system. Can you think of a system you would replace it with that would work as well as this one, that could track and monitor the bad ones as much as this one? Anyway, there you go. But the fascinating thing to me is the thanks to these rules. The fascinating thing to me is going back to the observation of the ISS and how those guys because they crossed over the angles, they really don't get it. Because they crossed over the angles to the ISS, and they did a diagram showing, well, the ISS is in the middle of the triangle and it crosses at the ISS. This is what they did. Because of that, well, we can do these things. It's like, you don't have that. You don't have that. If you're going to work with that, then you need to pull your lines into one, which is what I showed with this drawing. The red line would be the line pulled into one. In which case you have this bizarre parallax of the moon, but parallax is just another way of saying holoprism. It's just another way of saying it. Here's one moon, here's another moon. It's a bit too severe. One moon. Here's the other one. God. One, two, and ISS. This is what they would have for their system if what they were doing was what they thought that they were doing, which is having the ISS at the top of their triangle. The top of the triangle where it crosses over. But they don't have that. Of course not. And if they had that, where the ISS crosses over, then they'd have to establish, well, from red to the center line of the moon, and from the other guy to the center line of the moon, they'd have to work on that distance. And what they're doing with working with this distance is they're basically going, okay, so we won't measure to the ISS, we'll measure to a point farther away that's showing parallax. It's like, okay, you're still measuring to a point of a triangle that's farther away than the ISS, because if you only have the ISS, you don't have any angles. You don't have anything. But they don't get it, and I'm tired of trying to explain it to them. Right. Anyway, there you go. Rob Thistle, how are you doing? My patience gets exhausted sometimes. Oh yeah, sorry. So Thomas Gron mentioned something. I'm going to show it, and when I show it, the globalist is going to say, no, because. But their because is empty. It's not there. This is what the globalings would do. If I showed what I'm about to show in a hangout with globalings, one of them would say, no, that's not fair because, and then another one would jump in to sway the argument, to bring it to somewhere else, so that the because was never discussed. If I then brought it back to the because and said, what were you saying is the because, That's not right because, go on, then they would just come in and do it again. That's what they did with rhetoric when I said it's the sun moving after explaining this is a question about centrifugal and centripetal forces. It's the sun moving. That's what they did for more than an hour. But I'm going to show it. Thanks for that. Thomas Gron, you just reminded me. So give me a second. I hope I saved it. I think I might have saved it. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. No, I didn't. Okay. So, just give me a second. Diameter of the moon, 3,474 kilometers. So, I'll prep this now. 3,474. Just give me a second. In fact, I will do it on screen and then you can see. And then you guys can do it. Show it. Other people have done this. It's been done to death. I've done it in the past. Many people have done this. In fact, many flat earthers have done this and then eventually gone, oh, it's case closed. The conclusion, we've arrived at the conclusion. And it isn't by leaping to consensus or anything like that. The truth is, the globe is absurd. This is one of the ways of showing it, which is what I'm going to show. And then those flat earthers just said, ah, well, so, yeah, there you go. I know. I've passed it on, and now I'm getting on with my life. So just give me a second while I display capture. Nope. Yes, here. So, again, moon diameter. 3,474. Back to Google Earth. Grab this. Grab the circle tool. 3,474. Okay, so 3,4 would be about 1 kilometers. Was 1,000. I don't know. Let's say there. Okay. In fact, to tell you what, I will simply 3,474 divided by 2 for the radius is 1,737. Let me see what I just measured here. Ah, taknabit. Okay, again. 1,700. That will do. That's the diameter. I'm going to say, wait, let me get it correct, exact. So the globalists don't moan. 1737, that's close enough. There, that will do. I'm going to save that. Okay. Down here, and one of the excuses is, no, well, what if people were looking on a phone? It's like, no, never mind if they're looking on a phone. Google Earth, you can zoom in all the way to ground level. Okay, this is a point. You can zoom in all of the way down to ground level. Okay. The elevation now, the eye altitude is 57 meters. Okay. You can zoom in all the way and you can zoom out a certain amount. So let's see how much we can zoom out. And this is a question of angular resolution. We can zoom out 63,000 kilometers. Huh. If we zoomed out the same again, the diameter of the Earth would be half what it is now, and the diameter of the circle would be half what it is now. So I tell you what, I can do that right now. I'm going to take half from here. me see, I'm going to move the circle to the middle, not too large. A little bit smaller, about there. There you go. That's at 126,000 kilometers. That's less than half the way to the moon. And when we continue, you end up with a very small dot for the moon, the size of the moon, with the distance in kilometers much smaller than the moon is to us in the real world, in the real sky. And the objection, which is, but people have different sized screens. It's like, yes, they do have different sized screens, but you still have kilometers being kilometers. And in a huge screen as big as the world, as big as the sky, if you were to move something the supposed size that they say it is, then well, it's freaking tiny, tiny compared to what we have in the real world. And this is what it comes down to. The conclusion of the distance to the moon is based on theory, on how far it must necessarily be. But it's on the back of theories that are just so cockamamie and patently false. Like that the moon drives the tides. If you want to see, I tell you what, I will show this. What am I showing on my screen? I will show this and then I will quit. Wait, don't tell me I wasn't displaying any of that. Yes, I was. Good. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Conspiracy Cats. And the most absurd explanation of the tides. I hope he hasn't pulled it. I'm sure he won't give me a copyright strike. And this is one of wait, I'll do a search here. Tides. Oh God, gonna have to go through. His explanation of the tides, yeah, because some things are slower than other things, so the faster things are faster. See, it was some time ago, and it's just the most ridiculous. Oh. Oh, this. Oh, hello. Don't know if that strikes back on centripetal force. Well, it could be. Oh, might be this one. No, it was after that. And his centripetal force, it failed so much. And I showed it with, well, should I do it again? Nah, can't be bothered. Oh, I wish I could find his moon tide video. Oh, I can't find it. If you guys want to spend some time chuckling, just go and look. And his explanation is basically, I tell you what, I will do my version of his explanation. Where am I? Here? Okay. Oh, I think I might have not been showing what I thought I was showing. Never mind, I'm tired, I'm fatigued. This is his explanation. Earth, bulge for tide, and bulge for tide on the other side of the Earth where the moon isn't pulling. Moon pulling that way with a little hook, little fishing hook, okay? Moon pulling that way to the water, okay? When you compare how much the water is being pulled that way versus the Earth, well, you can see that this has moreness than the Earth, okay? There's moreness, acceleration, more than the Earth. And more, right? If this is going faster, like more acceleration that way because of moon, right, than the Earth, we see it because of tide, and Earth also maybe a bit towards the moon. So let's say the speed of this is 3 and the speed of this is 2. Well, then the speed of this is 1. See, the difference between 1 and 3 is 2. So this is slower. You see, that's why it bulged that way. So you go, see? No joke. That's the globe's explanation for why the tides are opposing sides of the sphere when the moon is only in one. True story. Right, guys, I'm going to bail. I'm going to go and watch Persian Scribe. Thank you very much for hanging out. We'll see how long this channel lasts. And hasta luego. Bye, everyone.